Welcome to Tying Michigan's Best Trout Flies. Today we're going to be tying a Calf Wing Hex Spinner, a fly that's been responsible for many large brown trout. So let's get started. Well, our next fly with tying Michigan's Best Trout Flies is going to be a Calf Wing Hex Spinner. And again, on these big mayflies, I'm using a size 6 3x long hook. That's our standard average hook here in northern Michigan for these big hex flies. And I've run the thread back to the wing position already. So it has a wing made out of calf tail, and you need a pretty good clump of it. So we're going to take a good sized section of calf tail off and tie it in right there at the wing position. And you might want to take some of the fluff out of the base of this. That lightens your load when you have to tie this down, and get some of the long ones out, maybe just a few here and there. And you need a pretty good sized clump to do this. That looks pretty good. So again, on this fly, we're going to tie the wing in not quite the length of the shank. We're going to back off on the length a little bit. We don't want to get too much tippet twist. And we're going to tie it on nice and snug right here on top of the shank. It's going to take quite a few wraps of thread to get this in place, so bear with me. And then when you've got that pretty much where you want it, you can just trim the rest of that off on a little bit of an angle. Now we're going to go back and come underneath the wing a few wraps. We don't want to stand it straight up though. We want this wing to slant forward and slightly spent. And just split this the best you can. You're never going to get it exactly even, but split this into as equal halves as you can, and then you just crisscross it with your thread to make your two divide your wings, make your two wings. It should come out looking something like this. The wings will angle slightly forward when you're done, about like that. And we'll take our thread back. And we're going to put the tail on. The tail then is just a segment of that same calf, that same little calf tail. So we'll just take a segment of the longer fibers out for the tail, and however thick you want it to be. This is another pattern we don't know for sure the origin of. It was popularized some years back by a gentleman by the name of Dan Catou. Dan's no longer with us, but he was a well-known fly tyer, and he tied a lot of this style of fly. And this fly has been responsible over the years for a lot of large brown trout. In fact, the one I personally know of that was in excess of 30 inches and in excess of 10 pounds. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put on a Grizzly saddle hackle. We're going to rib this the entire length with this Grizzly saddle hackle. Attach that near the bend. Make sure that's secure. The body on this fly is made of some yellow poly yarn. Doesn't have to be too thick. But you see we've got a little discrepancy here. When I tie this, my poly, and I tie it in right there, it kind of makes up for the difference. All the way back. And bring it forward, and your thread can come in front now. So this is a simple fly, just some overhand wraps obviously, and you're going to come up to one wrap in front of the wing set, and you can just tie that off. If you get a few fibers wrapped down, it's no big deal. You can either trim them off, pull them out, whatever you want to do, like that. And then to finish it off, spiral this forward. This certainly helps the flotation of the fly, and I suspect it probably looks like those spinners when they're wiggling a little bit on the water. Just a wrap in front, tie it off, trim off your excess. So we'll finish the head now, and whip finish it as we do. You can do this by hand. I do it by hand sometimes, so I prefer this little tool. I'm not big on tools, but this kind of makes it a little quicker for me. finish it off. And there's your finished Calf Wing Hex Spinner. Good floater, extremely effective. It's caught a lot of big trout. We'll hope to see you the next time.